All right, welcome everybody. So this is a video I'm making in regards to a rebuild, more specifically. Excuse me. I'm looking to rebuild pretty much the entire engine. For starters, why I began doing it was because I had a misfire on cylinder 3, which would be this one right here. Okay, and as time was going on, the car was just becoming harder and harder to start. Obviously, I have some issues with it, and I knew I had to do something about it. So I dove into it, and I took it to his shop, excuse me, and they diagnosed that I had some air coming out of my radiator. So obviously it was no longer sealed, and yeah, no good. So as you can see, I've since pulled it out. I've done quite a bit, actually. I got quite a bit of everything going on here. I didn't record a lot of this, obviously. But I promise, if you go over to, and I highly recommend video, his channel is called Worse Than Chiggers, and he does a really great job of breaking it down and explaining how to get to this point. So the only thing he didn't do was take out these camshafts right here. He only did the driver's side. So, but it's essentially the same, and he explains like the sequences to take all the bolts out and everything. So I really just recommend his channel getting to this point. Yeah, so with that being said, my thinking of where I'm going with this and why I'm doing this, like I already explained, I took it to a shop. They said this is what's going on, yada yada. Well, sure enough, so as I'm draining the oil out of this, there was it was a little milkshakey. At the beginning it wasn't, but then once it got towards like the last quarter of a quart that was coming out of, you know, the engine, there was a little milkshakiness going on. So yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with this engine. I guess my thinking was, you know what, I'm just gonna rip it apart, and if I get down to where either the heads are warped or worst case scenario, it's just gonna be a learning experience. So I just started diving into it, and if I get down to it and it turns out the heads are warped or whatever else I may encounter, at least everything will be ripped out, and then I can just, you know, get another engine refurbished or whatever and slap it in. So yeah, so anyway, what am I trying to say? Since I began, got into it, I just wanted to point out, excuse me, just follow me over here. What did I do with them? Oh yeah. Alright, so I don't have a visual, it's in the back, I don't feel like digging for it. But, what did happen is that, since I've owned it, I've had this, 18 months now, and I pulled out all of the spark plugs, okay, but then I got down to this one, you know, cylinder 3 where the misfire was, and the spark plug that went in there was cross-threaded, pretty bad. Like, I had to use a breaker bar that was like 24 inches just to, with all my strength, like I pulled a couple muscles in my arm, like really trying to get it out of here. So yeah, I don't know, obviously, like, well, I'm gonna grab a flashlight, but if you look, I'm sure if by the time I can't just throw something back in there because it's gonna be that bad, obviously, because that crossing that spark plug probably screwed things up down there. So that's my first sign that, like, you know what, I'm probably not gonna be able to reuse this. My second reasoning behind that is, yeah, I don't know if you can see, probably not. Yeah, but second thing is that radiator was fairly brand new, or fairly new, when I got this. So what does that indicate? Obviously, at one point in time, it was exchanged, and more than likely, it overheated. because another thing I know is over time, like after I bought this window had been replaced, and I look inside and like you can see there was like some mold. Or this sat for a minute. So I know the guy that I bought it from said he did these seals right here, and he did another seal. I forget which one he said. I'm not the most experienced in this, so excuse me if I don't know all the details. But it's reasonable to think that this thing is overheated. And then second, like I said, this was cross-threaded in there. I had to yank it out, and yeah, I don't know how that's gonna look. So I'm at the point now where this head is ready to be removed. I've undone these bolts. These ones, they slipped, and I now have to use these right here. I think these are recommended by another YouTuber. So I'm gonna have to hammer one of these on just to get a bite, so I can take off 1, 2, and 3. So if you do get to this point, and I hope this is useful to some people, to push back on that Worse Than Triggers video, he did say he did it in a certain sequence, but according to this book, if we look, okay, the Haynes, right here it says, follow the reverse order of the factory recommended tightening sequence. So this is the 3.4 and tightening sequence, right? And he did it in the tightening sequence, but according to the book, you're supposed to do it in reverse, right? Like I said, you go back over, and specifically says the reverse order. So that's the only thing I would push back on. But still, regardless, like, he did a really great job of explaining how to get down to the point and what tools you're going to need and whatnot. So yeah, I do intend on following up this video once I do get these heads off, and see where it goes from there, see how it looks, and what else I need to do.